we have Johnny Gilbert's and the stainless diesel guys pro mod here. Tony Durhammer from Hammer Tech, he finished, well, both of them combined finished the car out so they can go out and race this year. Johnny obviously is king of Pro Street at the moment still. Him and the guys have done a tremendous job getting and going where they've been with the Pro Street truck. They're by far one of the fastest ones out, or the fastest out there currently. So we are actually making, Johnny contacted me and wanted to do a set of Zoomy pipes out of the side of his fender. Basically, instead of running a 5-inch just normal exhaust out the side, we're gonna do something cool for Johnny and make a Zoomy comes out the side with the 2 gate pipes incorporated and stuff. Just something cool, different. Johnny's all about being different, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. We have a couple days left to kind of get it finished up. We're waiting on some parts and that kind of thing, and some things ended up changing over the course of that time. So we are just kind of chugging along and finishing it up. And another thing while it's here, Roy, one of Johnny's lovely crew guys, unfortunately doesn't quite know how to put a Turbo 400 converter and spline it onto the trans. So they're gonna come, he's also gonna come out for a day, and we're gonna give him a demonstration and you know, show him how to properly do that since he's never done it before.
Hey, anybody around here need a converter installed?
Hey, no.
I hear you talking smack, Cody, but I'm pretty sure, you can ask Larson. I helped put the torque converter in, it lights out because you guys are having problems. Right, Johnny? Right, Johnny?
That'll work. Yeah, exactly. So a couple days later, more than a couple, after we had started on the stainless project, it's all done and wrapped up. We got Johnny all hooked up with a pretty wild exhaust for his new car. So it was kind of a bit of a challenge. I ended up doing I know before we were waiting on a collector, ended up just making one by hand, which was something a little bit different because it has, it goes from 5-inch to 4 2.5-inch tubes out. And then when you see, obviously there's 5 total, you know, exits. I ended up merging both of the gate pipes into one 2.5-inch tube and running that out with it. So it kind of looks like, you know, it's a 5-cylinder or something, having 5 tubes like that. They'll get the front clip. I think they had some things they were doing to it at home while we had the car here. So they'll get that thing all fitted up and get a nice little cutout for it. And yeah, it should hopefully sound pretty cool. Definitely gonna be different. I know it's not gonna sound like a typical, you know, turbo car where it's a little muffled down. So yeah, hopefully Johnny and them can kill it this year. In Pro Mod, I know they'll have tons of curves and learning curves just like everybody still does. You'll never figure it out perfectly. But yeah, I know they'll kill it on that.
We were going to catch up with John Gilbert while he was here, and we got busy that morning and missed it. So we asked John for to give us some video footage, talk a little bit about what his goals are with the car. So here is a take straight from John Gilbert at Stainless Diesel.
Had a great time racing with Pro Street, did all that stuff, and learned a lot of hard lessons and had a lot of hard fun, like all the breaking of parts and whatnot. I watch these damn pro mods, and I keep watching them and how just crazy cool that would be. And I'm enamored by the big floppy tires, and I want to learn big tires. And I'm a 4-wheel drive guy, so this is going to be all new. With the pro mod, like, I was just kind of a thought, you know. It's like, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a 55 Chevy chassis, and I just kind of looked around. I called a couple guys, and it was one of those things where a guy posted up this split window Corvette, kind of like Ben's, and I stared at Ben's, and I was like, man, that's a badass ride. It'd be cool to have something like that one day. So like, I hit him up and messaged this guy, you know, and I'm like, hey, I want to come check this thing out. So Roy and I jumped in the truck, went over, took a peek at it. We made a deal on this thing. And then I talked to Hammer Tech and say, hey, what do you think about this? Can we work with this? He goes, bring it down. And the engine placement was for a big block Chevy with a Power Glide transmission. So we get looking at it, and then when we look at it, it's like, we're gonna put this big diesel motor in. Good job, Steve.
It's my phone.
We want to put this big heavy diesel motor in this thing, so we need to adjust the motor location and whatnot. So like, we get talking to Wagler, and he's like, yep, he gave us the weight of the engine, and basically we had Tony cut the whole front end apart over at Hammer Tech Race Cars, set the engine back, make the motor mounts, make the, you know, the transmission mount. Another thing about these pro mods, like, I watched Firepunk boys pull this transmission out from the door, like, you pull it out the side of the car, and I'm like, man, it'd be cool to make this transmission come out of the bottom. So Tony's like, I can do that, because, you know, we're going to play hard and we're going to break stuff, and we're going to need to swap parts here and there. We want to make it easier on ourselves. So long story short, like, I get this crazy idea. So Tony helped us a bunch. We brought it back here to the shop, and we did a bunch of fabrication as far as like the little stuff, you know, a lot of the little bitty brake line tabs and the shock travel sensor tabs, little tabs we weld into the frame. And we made some new 4-link bars. The 4-link bars that came on it are a little small, so we beefed those up a bit. So we fabricated, made those, put them on, got everything kind of set up in the car sitting here. And I didn't really care for the big 5-inch honker pipe that was coming off the turbo to just kind of go down and curve up, or, you know, some little thing. I wanted something way different, because this pro mod is like way different. I talked to Cody at Firepunk. I'm like, hey man, what do you think about this? He goes, oh, I can do that. I'm like, all right, well, cool. I'm gonna bring it to you guys, and that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, Cody's a badass.
Cody's a badass. Definitely an artist.
Yeah, Cody does Cody things, and like, he's the man. So we just picked it up and took it to our good friends at S&S just yesterday, matter of fact. The plans are for this year to race it in ODSS for sure. There's gonna be some bugs to work out, of course, you know, new car bugs, I'm sure. So we're gonna be down at Wagler Motorsports Park testing a lot. It's kind of my plans there. Hopefully this thing goes straight and fast, and we go race at ODSS. And then if we get to the point where, you know, this thing's doing what we want it to do, which my ultimate goal is gonna be probably pretty lofty, but I'd like to be 380s at 200 plus in the 8th mile and go race with the car guys, side by side, big tire.
Yeah. That's not much.
It's not a lot to ask for.
It's not, yeah. I mean, why not? You're Johnny Gilbert, right?
Never know till you try.
That's right. It'll happen one day. Hopefully we get there. That's for sure.
That's the goal.
I think we got the team and the people for it, for sure. That's definitely a thing.
Yep. And in the meantime, we're going to be playing with the Pink Panther here. This is going to be a neat little monstrosity. And yes, the blower will be active at certain points in time in its life cycle. It's going to be a 590 machine and also a burnout machine. Pink tire burnouts for cancer awareness. It's going to be badass.
I don't know how he doesn't have kids. He hits it every time.
He gets it every time.
It's
like we're laying underneath the truck.
Like
we were at Rocky Top,
yeah.
150 degrees out, laying it underneath the truck. We're changing the torque converter. The transmission's on a jack. And Roy gives it the old
no transmission base, nothing.
We're all laying on our back underneath the jack stands.
It's 150 million degrees out. Plain and simple, you're sweating, and Roy reaches up with one arm.
He looks at it. He looks at it
and goes,
thunk.
It's over.
Like, there's no.
I really don't know how he doesn't have children at this point. It's like physically, like the laws of physics state that this is impossible.
This is a true story.
I don't know.